So here we are at Cluskey out on the Downs again, my favourite place as you know. 4 minutes on the net with Deck, helping you to not make mistakes yourself. Don't learn from your own mistakes. Silly idea. Learn from other people's mistakes. Week by week on 4 minutes with Deck, I tend to give you instances of other people's mistakes, how you can learn, emails that are sent to me that I've answered and given the answers to the questions. This week, got a good one from a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Patrick Parker, a great man for choirs, and he asked me a question. He thinks his voice is too loud in the choir. What can he do about it? I said, Patrick, I know you're Irish, but that's the most idiotic question I've ever heard in my life. We do laugh a bit among ourselves. Simply, if your voice is too loud in the choir, don't sing too loud. As simple as that. Don't do it. Calm down. And I explained to him that a choir is simply the same as a symphony orchestra. You'll have a conductor in front of the symphony orchestra and he'll be telling the oboes to come up a bit. You've seen them, and the violins down a little bit, and the timpani, more timpani. And he'll be advising all the way through. That's what a conductor does. And similarly, you'll find that the conductor of a choir, or the leader of a choir, does exactly the same thing. And all you have to do is listen. You know, he'll point at you and go down a bit, and then he'll point at you, maybe come up a bit. And that's what Patrick has got to learn. It's as simple as that. I was a member of a choir in High Street in Dublin, and it was exactly that. I never had a problem in blending voices in groups, and I'll tell you a few situations where you can have major problems. When I started recording first, I always understood that a choir or a vocal group or a band should balance themselves. It's as simple as that. I think in my day we more or less always sang into one microphone, so you had to balance the choir or the group or the band. Then when we started recording seriously at Decca and we developed a lot of systems for two-tracking and all that, we were the first band to ever two-track vocals. The Beatles then, I suppose, heard about the idea, and then they did it, and then Fortunes and Searchers and all the other bands did it. And the way we did it was this: we were using 4 tracks. So 2 of the tracks were taken up for the band, the orchestras. That was balanced during the session, and that was it. The 2 other tracks we used for vocals. The first vocal we did was my brother Con singing the lead, and he was singing on one side of the microphone, and John, my then partner, and myself were on the other side of the microphone, a little bit further away than Con. So then when we finished the track, and we had to do it in one take, believe it or not, there were no drop-ins. Well, you could, but it was very difficult. Then we reversed around the microphone, and that was important, to reverse yourself around the microphone so that the tonality would be different due to the acoustics of the room, the recording room. And then we came in closer, the back vocals, so they were closer, and then Con would stand a little bit away, and what he would do would only sing when there were unison parts or when there were harmony parts, and then his solo voice was absolutely solo. Good trick, and we sort of invented that way of doing things. So it's very important to balance yourself in that way. Coming forward now to live gigs nowadays, where you're using, say if there's 4 of you, and you're using 4 different microphones. Whatever you do, do not fall into the trap of saying to the sound man, oh, Charles is a little bit quieter than me, can you turn his microphone up a bit, and turn Betty's microphone down a bit, and all that stuff. No, 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 no. You say to the sound man you want 4 microphones, absolutely the same gain, absolutely the same gain, and absolutely the same in foldback, absolutely the same EQ, and a modern day mixing desk, if you do that on the mixing desk, it should give you 4 precisely the same microphones. And if we're doing a show, say a benefit show, where we're using another sound system, that is my requirement, and I say it to the sound man, I am not going on stage and being an idiot and sound checking until you give me 4 microphones or 3 microphones, whatever, 3 microphones exactly the same, identical microphones. I would advise you to do the same. I've seen so many bands stand on stage at sound check doing that thing, oh Mr. Soundman, in foldback, can you bring Charlie's mic up a bit, and can you take Fred's mic down a bit as well? His voice is louder than mine, so can you take that down? No, 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 no. And I've had this, not argument, I'm at the stage of the game that I don't argue about things like that. If you want to do it your own way, do it your own way, but suffer, suffer. So what you have is 3 identical microphones, 3 identical foldbacks, everything exactly the same, and the band balances itself. That's the best result you will ever have. So let's see, have I covered everything? Yes, I've seen hours wasted by groups on stage at sound checks. I always tell, it's not a horrible story, but my dear, 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 dear friends, one of the first girl groups in Britain, the Nolans, I've seen them, I've done so many shows with them, and they will spend hours with Colleen, you know, it's, oh, can you take her microphone up a little bit? Her voice is quieter than me. 2 hours later, they're still manfully at it. And I'm absolutely bursting myself laughing. There's no point. It never gets any better. But I finished my email to Patrick, Dr. Patrick, by saying, Dolly Parton put it beautifully. Tuck under the other singer's voice. That is wonderful, wonderful. You tuck in, when you're singing with somebody, you just tuck under his or her voice. And that is the way to do it. And that gives you a superb blend. The other point is, you should sing in a way that you don't hear yourself, you only hear the blend. That is the way I operate on stage when I'm singing with my brother, or when we're singing with a track. We use an added instruments track, which members of the Serious Writers Guild know all about. So we've got all the harmonies and everything else on another track. And I sing in a way that I can't hear myself singing. And that is the way to do it. So there we are. Deck Cluskey out on the downs. I always swing the camera around a little bit, give you a little view of what's behind me. Serious Writers Guild. How to join the Serious Writers Guild? The entry is by the 10-month program, which is award-winning, thank goodness. And I wrote it all those years ago. It gets a makeover every year, and everything is absolutely then up to date. But it's how to make $1 million from your music, award-winning, as I say. Makehits.com, deck@makehits.com if you want to get in touch with me, or comment below. Very few people do. They prefer to send me emails, and then I can come out in the downs and answer them. See you next week. Bye.